Good day, pre-algebra. We are starting Unit 5 with CO30, which is talking about X and Y intercepts. Unit 4, we talked a lot about graphs. We did a lot of graphing, but more so just plotting points given an XY table, plotting the points, and we found things like slope and talked about relations and functions and things like that. But Unit 5 now, we're kind of moving on to the next level of graphing, which is more characteristics of a line, but then also being able to graph a line given an equation, using slope intercept form rather than just an XY table. And it starts with talking about an X-intercept and a Y-intercept. And I took a brief poll before we started recording. X-intercepts and Y-intercepts sounds like it's fairly new to all of you. So we'll just jump right into the definitions. The X-intercept is where a line crosses the x-axis. Okay, so on a coordinate plane, it's where a line crosses the x-axis. That is the X-intercept. And the thing about an X-intercept, because you're on the x-axis, your y-coordinate of the X-intercept will always be 0. Okay, because you haven't moved up or down on the y-axis at all. If you're on the x-axis, that horizontal line of that coordinate plane, y will always be 0. And so then the y-intercept, as you can probably guess, is where a line crosses the y-axis. Okay? Where a line crosses the y-axis. And the thing about a y-intercept is that because you're on the y-axis, you have not moved side to side at all, x is always going to equal 0. Okay? So you can use this information here when given an ordered pair to very easily tell whether or not it is an X-intercept or a Y-intercept. Here, is there a problem? What? What? I need you flicking up here unless there's a problem. No? Okay. So given an ordered pair, such as 5, 0, we see that y value is 0. So what type of point is this? Is it an X-intercept, is it a Y-intercept, or is it just out in space? Aiden? It is an X-intercept. If you want to abbreviate that, just X-int, that works for me. Okay? But visualize where that point 5, 0 is on the coordinate plane, right? 5, 0 is going to be on that x-axis, 5 away from the origin, right about there. You know, if this were an ordered pair as part of a line, that's where it would pass through that x-axis, thus making it the X-intercept. How about -4, 3? X-intercept, Y-intercept, or neither, out in space? If you're not sure, Annika? Neither. Okay? And if you're not sure, just visualize where that point is. You know, we spent last unit plotting these points, -4, 3, -4 on X, 3 on Y. It's going to be right about there. That's not on either axis, right? It's out in space. -17, 0, X-intercept or Y-intercept. Take a look at that ordered pair. Identify if there's a 0 and where it is. Carly? X-intercept, because that y value equals 0. Again, if we kind of visualize where this is, -17, 0 is going to be 17 left of the origin on the x-axis. That 0 means we're not moving up or down the y-axis at all. Okay, so it's on that x-axis. 0, 8, X-intercept or Y-intercept? Anybody new want to jump in? Ifan? Y-intercept, yes. And again, kind of visualize where that point is, 0, 8. 0 on X means we're not moving side to side at all. And 8 on Y means we're 8 above the origin, right, on that Y-axis. So a line passing through that point will intercept or cross the Y-axis at 0, 8. 1, -7, X, Y, or neither? Someone new? Anybody? Yes. Right. Neither. Where's that point? Just visualize 1, -7. Going to be right down there, not on either axis. And finally, 0, -10. The Y-intercept. 0, -10 on the y-axis, 10 below the origin, and there we have it. Okay? So given it in ordered pair, like I said, you can kind of use this y always equals 0 for the x-intercept, x always equals 0 for the y-intercept to help you identify which it is, or visualize, or just draw a quick corner plane and plot it. Is it on the x-axis, is it on the y-axis, or is it out in space? Okay? Questions on this so far? Okay. Given a graph, such as the 6 or so that we have here, you just kind of look at it. Write the x-intercept and the y-intercept of each graph. This first one here, we'll start with the x-intercept. Where does that line cross the x-axis? At what point does that line cross the x-axis? Maggie, -2. You see it right there. So if I ask you for the x-intercept of this line, or where does it cross the x-axis, it crosses at -2, 0. And then for the y-intercept, where does this line cross the y-axis? Aiden?
0, 2.
At +2 for the ordered pair 0, 2. And again, like we pointed out earlier, in that x-intercept, that y value equals 0, and in the y-intercept, that x value equals 0. But there you have it. Okay. Let's go to the, a lot of them cross at +2. Oh my God. Let's go down to the, one right below it there. Okay. What is the x-intercept of the first graph in the second row? Where does it cross that x-axis? What is the ordered pair? Leah? Good. -1, 0. Okay. And where does the line cross the y-axis? Look carefully. With a line that's this steep, it can be kind of hard to tell. Where does it cross that y-axis? Annika? 0, 3. Yeah, good. Not quite at 2, right? There's a little bit of space. Okay. It crosses at 0, 3. The biggest mistakes that folks make when writing the x and the y-intercept is they mistake the axes, right? So these are labeled for you: x horizontal, y vertical. They won't always be. So this is kind of one of those things that you need to memorize and just understand on a coordinate plane, that x-axis is the horizontal, the y-axis is the vertical. Okay. Any other of these four that you feel the need to talk about today? Aiden?
I had a question.
Yeah.
Would it ever be possible for it not to be a 0 in like the first or second place?
If you're talking about an x-intercept, the y value is always 0. And if you're talking about the y-intercept, the x value is always 0. There are no exceptions to that. Okay. Not a bad question, right? It seems like there's always an exception to the rule, but this is the exception to that rule, that there are no exceptions. Okay. Anything else? Any others you want to talk about? Yeah. What if it's on the middle? Okay. So there's a question down below there, question C. It says, what is the only ordered pair that is both an x-intercept and a y-intercept? Well, by definition, in order for it to be an x-intercept, that means that the y value needs to be 0. But if it's also a y-intercept, that means the x value needs to be 0. So we have the ordered pair 0, 0, which is where? Smack in the middle, right? The origin. So if a line passes through the origin, which this one doesn't, I'm just using it to plot the point, that would be both the X-intercept and the Y-intercept, because it crosses both axes at that point. Okay, so there's an answer for letter C down at the bottom there. The only ordered pair that's both an X-intercept and a Y-intercept is 0, 0, also called the origin. Okay, so you've got 4 more to do on your own, just writing the point. Where's it cross the x-axis? Where's it cross the y-axis? And then letters A and B down below. What is true about every ordered pair of an x-intercept, and what is true about every ordered pair of a y-intercept? And I believe that closes the page. Yes, it does. So, final questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, complaints, compliments, congratulations, or criticisms. Kind of a nice start to Unit 5, isn't it? Maybe, hopefully. Okay. If that's all you have for me, that's all I have for you. That's how you math.